Right, I think we are maybe live. Wait for YouTube to catch up. I tell you what, playing around with YouTube, doing all this, you realise how awful a system YouTube is a lot of the time.
Maybe live?
Oh, we're live on one of my devices, but not the other, so let's just assume we are. Good, hello everyone! Of which, there's one person here at the moment, so hello one person. For those who might be watching later, I'm up in the boat doing some maintenance work, and we did this yesterday where we had an exciting day of installing a toilet. Today we're probably not going to be quite as exciting. I know how riveting the toilet stream was. Today we're going to just be doing a little bit of sealing work and tidying up work along the join, but we'll give it a minute just in case there is anyone who wants to watch. I guess the one person watching is probably me on my phone, so... But why is it not showing up on here? View the channel. Oh, there we go. There we go. Wow, 6 people watching. Okay, hello everyone, hello. Right. How are we all doing today? Up here it's a very wet, well not wet, it's raining but lightly. Temperature's warmed up a little bit over the last couple of days, but it is still Scotland in January, so it's still pretty miserable. Had a pretty decent night last night. It was cold and a bit damp, but slept okay. Right, so what are we up to today? Let me disconnect you from your position. So I talked about this a little bit yesterday, but by the way, if someone can let messages say whether or not you can actually hear me and anything, and if we're coming through alive and clear. So yeah, like I say, yesterday was toilet day. Still there. Today what we're going to be doing is working on a problem that Hat-Trick has, or all ETAP 30s have in general, which is to do with this joint here. So basically what that is, apologies if I'm preaching to the converted, but that is that's the join between the hull and the deck, which is kind of made in, well, more than 2 pieces, but in general in 2 pieces, and then it's mated together. Now, I love Hat-Trick, I think she's a great boat, but, oh my god, there are a couple of kind of issues which are a little bit silly if you ask me. One of which is, if I show you looking down on the side here, so basically underneath this is the rubbing strake, and you can't really see it because I did seal it up last year, but this is the outside of that join basically, and you can't really see it that well because I've covered it up with silicone. But for some reason when they designed this boat and they were looking at how to join the hull to the deck, they decided to put the deck on the inside of the hull. So rather than it kind of overlapping and the deck kind of overhanging the hull, they did it the other way around. Ah, thank you, Pablo. Yes, let's. You can hear me. That's good. So I'm not talking to myself. Yes, let's hope the technology lasts out today. Did all right yesterday, but if it does reset, I can't restart the same stream, so you'll have to go to the channel and find the next stream, which will come up almost immediately, assuming I can get it working again. Yeah, so it's kind of slightly odd. They put the deck inside the hull. Now the problem that makes is it creates this little shelf, so when water runs off the deck it kind of goes onto this little shelf. Now obviously that join is well sealed, but this is a 30-year-old boat now, and that seal, you know, no seal lasts forever. So I'm shining that light in everyone's faces. Yeah, no seal sort of lasts forever, so eventually what happens is it starts to leak, and you start getting water in from there. Now, I guess if I was to give them some credit, maybe their thinking was, you know, the water splashing up from underneath. If it was the other way around, would kind of drive its way up through that joint. So, but you know, boats spend a lot more time getting rained on than they do sort of getting water splashed right up into the deck. Or at least that would be my guess. So, so yeah, it just doesn't seem like a thing, and they just notoriously fail over time and get damp. The other problem, and I did mention briefly yesterday for those who were around yesterday, is it actually has a double skinned hull. So this is the inside hull, and there's a layer of foam in the outside hull. Same is true for this, although I'm not sure there's actually foam in there. And which is great for insulation and reducing condensation, things like that. But then you have this kind of gap here where the two sides meet, which is single skin, which means it gets really cold, and it is just a absolute magnet for condensation. And even if it was completely sealed and it wasn't letting water in from outside, you would still get lots of damp in there. And obviously, you know, you've got cupboards, you close up the cupboards, they're not getting airflow, and things very quickly get pretty damp and horrible. So we're going to try and at least address it from the inside, and also tidy it up a bit today, because you know, it had there's a piece of it there. It basically had this kind of wooden trim that fitted over that gap, which it has a veneer on it, but this is just a piece of it. If I find a piece of the veneer, yeah, it's kind of like this stuff. But you know, basically that, you know, made it look a bit tidier, but it also, I guess, you know, covers that area up and stops sort of the warm air being able to get to it. Now, being 30 years old and sort of a fairly cheap ply, that stuff has just disintegrated and fallen to pieces. So a couple of days ago when I got up here, I ripped it all off. Excuse me, finishing my coffee. Yeah, I ripped it all off, and I've been through and I've scrubbed it all out with sort of soap and water, and then I've been over it with some thinners to try and get that joint as clean as possible. Because I think what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to fill that joint with silicone. There is like sealant in it already, but it's kind of a bit of a hodgepodge and old. So I'm going to try and fill that gap essentially with silicone, and then we're going to fit this quite nice grey sort of plastic PVC, which will not only essentially just, it'll tidy it up, but it should then hopefully seal that joint in and reduce the amount of condensation. Don't know if this is a good idea or not, but we're going to give it a go anyway. So right, anyway, let me finish my coffee and we'll get to it. I did have dreams of basically I've been drying it out in here, by the way, to try and get it warm, and also warming up the silicone, so it might actually flow, because I'm pretty sure it was frozen this morning. So yeah, I think we're pretty much good to go. The other thing, I was kind of saying, I had dreams that I was just going to stick the basically stick it on with the silicone, but when I started to dismantle it, I realised it was actually screwed on, and I think if I don't screw it back on, it's probably just going to start falling off. So fortunately, I can screw into this stuff pretty easily, and I have some over here. I have a box of these screws, so I don't need anything big, so probably use maybe something like that. Shame I don't have something shorter than that. I mean, I could use a bigger one, like this kind of thing. My God, if I can grab one out. Could use like these kind of ones, but I think one of these would probably be sufficient. Right, anyway, we've got to get to it though, because silicone absolutely stinks when you use too much of it in a confined space like this, and I have to sleep in here tonight, so we need to get this done and get it aired out, so that I'm not sleeping in here with a load of ammonia basically. Right, let me find a spot to put you on here. Get some more light in here. So, I got some gloves because I always end up with silicone everywhere when I try and do these kind of jobs. I'm going to empty out my bedding, but I don't really have anywhere else to put my bedding, so let's just go with this. So this is marine grade RTV silicone sealant, translucent. 25-year lifespan apparently. I'm sure that's true. I'm sure that there isn't a whole chunk of caveats as to under what circumstances it won't last 25 years. I've never seen silicone that'll last 25 days. It's a good going with a lot of these kind of materials. Right. So yeah, so I'm going to run a bead. We're going to try and fill that gap as best we can, and then before it goes off entirely, I'm going to try and put the new sheet over it. I'm kind of hoping it might stay there with the silicone long enough for me to kind of put it in position and then drill, screw. That would be the dream, but I have a feeling it's probably just going to keep falling out. So I might have some tape or something that I could tape it on with, which would probably be a good idea. Yes, it is. Sorry, I realised I'm not actually looking at chat. Hey J3, hey Pablo. Yes, this is something new we're trying with, seeing if we can have the technology to live stream. Right, what did I want other than that? Oh yeah, some tape. If I'd thought about this, I'd have prepared, but I had some tape yesterday. Alright, well let's just let me just get rid of this rubbish. I need to try and be as careful as possible here. I could get all my duvets as far as I say, but I've got nowhere to put it really. It's not going to be in the way. Okay, I got some gaffer tape, so in theory we can stick this on afterwards. Hi JD, how you going? Yes, this is what my boat looks like, JD. Hope you're having a good day. Right, now let's liberally splash some silicone everywhere. I forgot that Charlie was our principal stalker who would report back to you. Annoyingly, I've run out of blue nitrile gloves, so I'm going to go with these really awkward ones to use. Right, let's see what we can get, how easily we can get into here. Now annoyingly, before, when I thought about doing this, because I bought the plastic to mount on here like years ago, well a year ago, and at the same time I was smart, and to avoid having to get ripped off on silicone at the chandlery, I bought a big sort of bulk pack of it on online, and then knowing I was going to do it this time, I went looking for it, but couldn't find it, so I thought, oh, I must have left it at the boat, and then got up here and it's not here, so I only have a couple, well, I have about 4 tubes, which is not going to be enough given the size of this gap in some places. So, oh man, that is potent. So yeah, so I'm either going to not be able to do all of this, or I'm going to have to go to the chandler and get ripped off. But we will see. Yeah, I think I paid like, for the price of like 1. Yeah, for the price of like 1 in the chandler, I bought like 6 from an online store. So, yeah, was kind of hoping to avoid that this time, but okay. Let's just run that bead. Okay, well, that's actually filling that pretty nicely, to be fair. If I get some on the outside, it's fine. Oh, I don't want to get on the top though. I have got the window open, but I think I need more window open. Hello, Joe. Sorry I couldn't answer your phone, but I was live streaming, as you have seen. Man, you're lucky you don't have smell-o-vision, because it's pretty potent in here. I'm sure breathing in concentrated ammonia isn't a problem. Right. I have to figure out how I'm going to get right up at the front there, because I do really want to fill in as much of this as possible. There's a real gap under here. So my thinking was, I'm going to try and do a chunk of this, and then we're going to probably have to get out of the boat to let it air out for a bit, at which point we'll go and do the tour around the boatyard that I promised yesterday, and then it got dark before I could do it. Right. That's 1 tube done. Yeah, bit of a strong smell. Yeah, yeah. I have a I have a crested gecko at home, and I made a like a backdrop out of you can basically like mould it out of spray foam, expanding foam, and then you coat it in silicone in order to basically make the foam waterproof, and you use that silicone to stick lots of soil on so it looks like a natural kind of earth bank kind of thing. Looks really good. The problem is it uses about, you literally have to like paint the silicone on, so it uses about 10 tubes, and our house literally was like poison for a week afterwards, to the point that I thought I was actually going to kill the lizard. I didn't put the lizard in it obviously until the smell dissipated, but even the lizard being in the house, I thought this is probably going to kill the lizard just from the fumes. So yeah, this stuff is nasty. Hi Oliver, how you going? No, I'm not reattaching the old trim. Same doing this. There's many to do on my ETAP 30. Yes, the list of jobs on ETAP 30s never end. Did I cut the end off that? My brain is... Yeah, no, I did. No, I'm not attaching the old trim. I'll show you in a second what I am attaching. I just want to finish filling in this hole. I'm glad there's someone here with an ETAP 30, because that way you can point out the things that I do wrong, because I wouldn't want anyone making the mistake of thinking I know what I'm doing here. But I'm assuming, like myself, you've got the issue of condensation and dampness forming around this joint, and also if you still got the original wood, Oliver, if you still got like the original wood trim, because if you have, has it fallen to pieces? Because mine fell to pieces. Right, let me show you what I'll grab the new thing and show you what I'm putting on. So this is what I've got to put on it. It's I'm guessing it's like a 2mm PVC. Yeah. It's just like a light grey because that's kind of the colour scheme we're going for. I think it's PVC because it's very flexible and I got it made, he says, to size, so it just should fit straight in. Yeah. I'm imagining there isn't an ETAP 30 out there these days that hasn't got its trim hanging from a thread. Right, so whilst we choke ourselves on that, let's give these strips a clean because they've been sat on the floor for a while now. They're probably all dirty, so I don't want to stick them on when they're filthy. Let's find somewhere for you to sit. There we go. Oops. Right. I guess we'll just use a bit of blue roll and spray to clean this. And find what I did with my blue roll. It's kind of worrying how bad it is when you go in there, which makes me wonder, like, am I getting used to it? My lungs getting coated with ammonia. Whew, fresh up there. There it is. Find my cleaner. Did you drive up today in the snow? No, I've been up here a couple of days, JD. Joe, what's the snow like down there? I take it from your photo this morning that the rain didn't come last night as you expected. Yeah, it's pretty bad. I'm using, so basically I'm just using it's a marine grade sealant. I'll show you in a second. It's nothing particularly special, to be honest. The trim is actually held on with screws, which I didn't think. At one point I did think I would use like an adhesive to do it, but yeah, as I took it off I realised, well, actually it's attached by screws, so I'm going to reattach it with some screws. I think whatever sealant I'm going to use, it's just going to fail. Any adhesive I use is just going to fail eventually. Plus having screws means that, you know, if I do need to get back to it, it's not going to be quite as much of a ball ache, although it's going to be a bit more of a ball ache to fit. So my plan is, I'm going to stick this in and then put a bit of tape to hold it in place, and then we're going to have to kind of go along and drill little pilot holes and just use some of these little I don't know, something like this, these little stainless steel screws. Throw that one on the floor. They have like, you probably noticed on yours, they've got like, they use so many of these little like brass sort of flathead screws. There's some cold instant coffee. Yeah, they got, everyone on the boat, they seem to use these little, I'm guessing they're brass, tiny flathead screws. Like they use them in these, they're in the hinges of these, and like I say, they were all along for this. I mean, I'm sure at the time they were decent, but they're so annoying because they just break so easily now. So yeah, but fortunately those ones did all come out pretty easily. Alright, let's go and see how we can fit this, shall we? LEDs in the rear, yeah, a light up front is something I need to deal with because the one that's in there is the original and it's rubbish. Yeah, I fitted these a while ago. There's a video, I don't know if you're a subscriber or if you've seen our videos, but I did a video about it because there's actually, like, obviously in this sort of window surround, there's space to mount an LED strip inside it, and then this on top, I'll show you, is actually, it's from a shower cubicle. So if you have like a walk-in shower, you basically attach one of these to the floor to create a little barrier to stop the water washing out. So it's just a little hemisphere sort of strip, and I basically just it's a type of sign plastic glue that attach that on top, cut the top of the trim out, and then fit the LEDs underneath it, and it's made quite a nice effect. And it's find a remote, and it's full RGB, so yeah. See, we can have like a disco if we want to, and we can party. But also, like, you can use, like, you find it, you know, you can have red lighting and stuff like that for when you're doing the night trips and things like that. So yeah, that worked out pretty well. Yeah, USB ports. Yeah, I did the same. I fitted a USB port back here. What I kind of want to do, to be honest, is maybe get a couple of those USB lights, you know, the lights that have a USB port plugged in, because obviously normally Jo sleeps over here and she doesn't have a USB port to charge her phone and stuff. So I thought if I could put one of those lights, it would solve the fact that this dodgy light is all that we've got up here. I've got this thing kind of going to make it a bit easier to work in here. Yeah, I don't know, come up with something else. I've also got an annoying problem with electrics, don't seem to work very well. Right, let's see how I'm going to get this thing in. The first thing I'm going to do, I think, is get a bit of a sense of how long this strip is. It's going to be longer than this. Okay, so it's probably going to make it all the way to the front cabin. So with that in mind, let's we're going to have to do a bit more siliconing, I think. So you see that it continues all the way through here. Some light, I don't know how well the GoPro will pick up on that. So I'm going to have to stick some silicone in there, and then it continues up into these cabins as well up here. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the full length, just mainly because I'm not going to have enough silicone to do it. But we'll do as much as we can. So I might just do one strip, so I just do all the front as far back in the cupboards as I can, and then if I need to get more silicone, we can. So right, where am I going to put you guys? Attach you to this door, I guess. So I'm trying not to throw you around so you don't get seasickness from watching this. But filming in boats is always a challenge. You never have enough room, it seems. What's that view like? Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Right. So let's get some silicone in here. So I did like pre-dry all of this morning, running the heater in these cupboards and things to try and remove some of the moisture, just to make sure that this sets better. But I do think that it's probably, can I imagine it, or does silicone sometimes work better if you've got if you spray it with a bit of moisture beforehand? Or is that a certain type of silicone and I'm just confusing two different things? I'm sure I've seen like advice places where it's like you have to spray stuff before you use silicone on it. But this one says like acetone cured, so I don't know if maybe this is a different type of silicone. Right, making the fatal mistake of using silicone without gloves on, which means I will automatically get it everywhere. Right, okay, so what I'm going to do, so it is grey, it's got a cover on it to protect it, I guess. So if you watch it there and see if I can feed this through on this side. That's a really good start, it's stuck on something already. Okay, there's just a hole in the side. And I've already got silicone all over it. Try and get rid of that silicone before I smear it everywhere. Come on. Let me put the glove on properly. Right, if you watch that way, what I'm trying to do is feed it through. The question is, what's it getting caught on? Oh, there we go. Right, let's see if I can feed it all the way now. Basically, oh my God, that's how it's going to want to sit. So, yeah, let's see if we can position it with a bit of this gaffer tape. Oh my God, this thing is being awkward. Right, stay there. I don't know if that's going to stay until we get the screws on it. It's just a really awkward position to get to stick. Helpful bit of gaffer tape. And okay, well, it's going to vaguely stay in the right position, so let's get the screw gun and see if we can't get this attached. So the next question is how I'm going to... So I'm going to run the screws along the top, so they just screw into the top one. Go all the way to the front. Okay, that's gone all the way to the front now. Obviously I'm not going to be able to screw underneath the front section there, but I'll start as close as I can. Right, I'm going to let go of that. You guys keep an eye on it. Don't let it fall off while I go get the drill. The other slightly annoying thing is I've pretty much only got the one drill bit that can work for this. And I'm going to have to use a really small one, and which means it could be quite easy to snap it if I'm not careful. And if I snap it, I don't have a backup, so let's hope that we don't do that. Screws. Find a decent screw bit. That is not a decent screw bit. That one is though. Yeah, I bought these stainless steel box of stainless steel screws, and they're pretty good. They don't seem to be like rusting like a lot of fake stainless steel stuff does. It's quite nice in the blue, isn't it, Joe? Well, I think in the grey it'll be fine. Yeah, but they are very soft. Like, they're pretty easy to round out if you're not careful, particularly the smaller ones, which I suppose is fairly normal. So I'm slightly suspicious that maybe they're not the stainless steel that I was promised. What's the snow like, Joe? You weren't listening when I asked earlier. There's no snow up here. Well, at least not that I've seen anyway. Surrounding the boat. God, why is my chuck knackered? There we go. I feel like I'm going to need a new drill at some point, because my chuck is getting stiffer and stiffer. Oh God, probably these pliers. Also, I dropped the drill bit that I said I couldn't lose. There we go. There we go. Ooh, it's getting warm up here. Either that or the ammonia poisoning is starting to get to me. Okay. Well, that drill bit's fairly straight. Right, let's turn you around a bit. So yeah, I'm gonna start by putting one right here as far forward as I can, and we'll work backwards from there. So always reassuring when you're screwing holes into the hull. Man, I wish I had two drills for this. I'm gonna have to be back and forth between these constantly. That's fine, Joe. Anyway, answer the question. What's the snow like? Why are you being so suspicious about the snow down there? God. Oh my God, Chuck, get in there. Okay. Now I'm almost certain I've just moved this, so it's not going to be lined up with the pilot hole anymore, but oh man. Okay, well that actually went in pretty nicely. I'm guessing I did line it up with the pilot hole. We'll have to end up putting another one down there. Okay, right, so I was just looking at the steam, looked like it had frozen, then it was just me staring very intently. Right, so I'm guessing when I put one I'm thinking about every foot probably. I think I have enough screws and stuff to do that. So let's find something we can use as a marker, so at least when the screws are all in, they'll at least look like they're semi-uniform. God, nothing like working on boats. Just squeeze from awkward position to awkward position. Okay, so up there. Make sure that's fully pushed up in. And then okay. God, that really doesn't want to go like right up there. I don't know if this tent is like stopping it from fitting properly. Still here, lots of snow. Would have be gone by now. Super slushy and drizzly, lovely. Well, like I say, it's wet up here, but there's no snow. Wet but no snow. Oh. Whew. Okay, number 2. Hopefully that should start pulling it into position a bit better. Right, mark up number 3. Oliver, assuming you're still here, where's your where do you keep your ETAP? Are you in the UK or are you abroad? Always keep an eye out for ETAP 30s when we're out and about. But they're pretty rare. Well, I mean, I know there's quite a few of them in the context of boats, but yeah, seeing an actual ETAP 30 is pretty rare. So if you know a couple of ETAPs out last year, I think there was a 22 we saw sailing through the Sound of Mull. I've seen a couple in boatyard. I think there's a 28 at Tarbert, or at least there was when we were there. Tarbert as in not fine Tarbert, because some of you may know, if you know Scotland, there are about, I don't know, about 20 Tarberts I think in Scotland. So yeah, if anyone ever says they're going to meet you at Tarbert, I'm going to clarify exactly which one they mean. You're getting rid of a rhythm going now. You got your video ready, Joe? So it's going to be coming out at 3. I wish I could open the hatch a bit more, but it's trapped under the rope for the cover. And as hot and uncomfortable as I am in here, I'm not hot and uncomfortable enough to overcome my laziness and go outside and fix it. What's going on with that? Why is that like stuck out like that? Do you want to see something really frustrating? Typical boat design. If you look in here, the gap is like narrower through here. So like where this kind of shelf bit is here, I don't want to touch it, there's silicone all over it. Like it's actually like slightly narrower by a couple of millimeters, which, not gonna lie, is a bit of a pain in the arse because I wasn't expecting that. And now this is gonna, it's not sitting flush because it's trapped. I kind of really wish I'd realised that before I started screwing this on. My guess is that this sort of bulkheady thing, this thing here, is just slightly too high, or slightly higher than the rest of it. So it basically means by the time it gets to here, it won't actually sit. So, options wise, it's fine up until there, so I could trim it off there. If I was to cut it there and then figure it out from there, I think would probably be the best idea. But yeah, kind of annoying. Typical boats, nothing ever is freaking straight and clear, is it? Plug you in. Sadly the battery on this thing does not last that long, particularly when you're live streaming. Okay, right, so I need to try and trim this, which means I need my knife, which is here. So how do I trim this without cutting my hand off? Ah, hey William, how you going? Working on 2 outboards, efficient. What kind of outboards? Big ones or little ones? Dinghy ones or powerboat ones? How easy is this going to be to cut? I did have some nice shears at one point, but no idea what I've done with them. See if my very posh scissors will cut them. probably shouldn't use scissors for this kind of thing. But these are very decent scissors, so I'm kind of hoping that they might be enough to get through. They are not. This is going to desperately end up in A&E if I do it with this knife. I'm going to end up with, like, losing my Stanley knife